Om Namo Narayana, Namaste, Jai Swami Narayan. Today we're going to conclude the Sri Krishna Karnamrutham, Nectar to the Ears of Lord Krishna. I hope you have enjoyed this. I say that almost in every video, I swear. But I've been finding this an interesting read. It's such a bit of variety from more theological, scriptural stuff, or like stories. It's kind of like Allen Ginsberg before Allen Ginsberg. You know what I mean? It's just, you can see where Allen Ginsberg comes from on some level. A very traditional place of poetry writing. Other than that, no connection. I'm not comparing Allen Ginsberg to these great poets. No. Anyways, let's dive in. Don't know where that came from. But I'm excited to sort of finish this up and just see where he ends with. That's where it came from. The god of love, with 5 arrows with him, got his beauty by a small portion of a drop of nectar. But Krishna, wearing the peacock feather in his head, naturally has lots and lots of nectar of joy, and let him be victorious. Let there be victory to the light in the form of a child, which is ever full by the length of its broad eyes, which defeats the autumn moon by the light of its smile, which is the personification of the plays of children, which is being enjoyed by connoisseurs again and again, by leaving out jobs which are hard to perform, and which lives on the chest of gopis who are proud of their youth. Though his subjects are people living in huts, though his friends are a few cow herds, though his garland is the rope used to tie the cows, though the people paying tribute to him are his cowherdesses, though his ornaments are peacock feathers and red stone from the mountain, and though the real truth about him is like this, Krishna is called the Lord of the 3 worlds. Whoever would not desire that light desired by the gopis, which uses pretty feathers of a peacock as an ornament, which is blue in color and is having the dazzle dear to the mind, which has a form of pretty principle spread everywhere, which is the rainy season for the lake called Lakshmi, which attracts the mind of people interested only in play, which has flowing nectar like the ebb of a series of plays, and which is the sweetheart of gopis. Who will not want to see forever the sweet light of the god, which has red lips, which has shifting eyes similar to a coward, which is full of the wonderful light that is full of joy, and which has the nectar of smile, and has his face filled with joy? Awake, awake, O mind, for you are getting the result of good acts after a lot of time. See, and enjoy as much as you like of this complete detachment of actions. This light-like form of Krishna is wonderful, for it has red color on feet cooled by mercy, no space between the hair locks, has breadth in his eyes, prettiness in the body that is black, and also has youthfulness in age. I salute that divine goddess who is in her youth and is blue in color, whose bewitching hair is decorated by peacock flowers and a flower garland, who is decorated by forest flowers, who is always pleasant to the mind, who puts the red decorative tilaka from the paste made of the mountain stone, who gets enraptured in the nectar of the music from the flute, and who is Lakshmi, the personification of great beauty. This form of great light, which is sweet to the mind, which has firmness in the tender feet, fleshiness in the calf, thickness in the hips, lotus in the stomach, length in the arms, breadth in the chest, sweetness in the lips, dense nature of the hair, youthfulness in the face, shine in the eyes, and uses forest products for decoration, is indeed wonderful. I salute the principle which is the total divine joy, which is crossing the childhood slowly and slowly due to the onset of youth, which by the songs on the flute is increasing more and more nectar, and which by his very long eyes again and again blesses the surroundings. I salute Lord Krishna, who is full of happiness of childhood, who wears a shining peacock feather on his head, who has a face which has a very pretty smile, who has a rotating sidelong glance from his eyes, who grants great happiness to those who surrender to him, who is full of blue color of the newly formed cloud, and who is fully complete due to his own personal sweetness, with a face which is complete with prettiness, with a smile which shows the capability of sweetness, and with a vision reflecting youthfulness of mercy, his form fulfills the avarice of my eyes. O Krishna, if at any time I have full faith in you, then I would get salvation, and is it necessary to tell that other small pleasures would automatically follow? Saluted by gopis who are blind with passion, served by the sages who are going round like bees, and shining red like the lotus flowers, are your feet, O Lord, and my salutations to them. We salute that lad Krishna who honors the beauties of Vraja, who indicate their needs by non-artificial and intelligent words after listening to them with interest. Let the flood of mercy, which cannot be properly described, which has a sweet face, which has a pretty flute in its hand, and which is that of a child, be permanently on my mind. Surrounded by Gopala's train in the art of minding the cows, his hair decorated by the peacock feathers, and with the tunes of his flute which are greater than the soul, and his heart warming up by plays with gopis, is Krishna, and may he protect us. Let us be protected by the God of this world, who has lips which are smiling, who plays cool nectar of music from his flute, who has eyes which travel hither and thither, who has sidelong glances with the pride of youth, and who is being embraced by the goddess Lakshmi on his chest. Seek the lotus-like eyes, granting desires to devotees, lotus-like heart which is full of mercy, lotus-like feet which is incomparable wealth of sages, and the lotus-like face being the wealth of Varuja lasses. Let us be protected by that taste which drives away all tastes, that state which is like the complete pleasure of salvation coming down, that place of stay of natural sweetness, and let that concept of Krishna which has come down to Gurukula, let us be protected by the incomparable light, which hides as it is tightly embraced by the chest of gopis, who are interested in music and dressing up, which is being worshipped by the pleasure of their love play, and which is interested in wandering in the sand dunes of Yamuna. Let our mind become the playground of the incomparable light, whose softness is appreciated by Deva damsels traveling in the sky, by the music that he plays on his flute in the forest, and whose blue body color competes with the dark clouds, and who is the source of all mercy. Let us be protected by the Lord of the kingdom of Ruja, who is surrounded on all sides by the doe-eyed gopis, standing line by line with pretty, heavy, and slow-moving hips, and with a pretty walk that increases the passion, who increases the happiness of the hands of the god of love by allowing him to use the flower arrows that are in his arrow case, and who cannot be adequately described in words even by goddess Sarasvati. I always see in my mental eyes that child Krishna, who eats the rice mixed with curd in the vessel made of lotus leaf in the sands of Yamuna, in the shade of thamala trees, with water flowing in front of him, who holds the sweet flute in his left hand, and who keeps horns on one side of his hip, besides looking after the cows in the grassland properly. Let that divine light which is called Krishna, who is black, who is the musk tilaka on the face of the gopis with the shine of the moon, who is the Indhavara flower that opened in the golden pot of Lakshmi's chest, and who is the divine black ointment to find out the treasure of salvation to sages. I pray Govinda, who likes the sweet songs of the flute, whose body is well ornamented, who is of the color of the fully opened blue lotus, who has a face like moon, who lovingly wears peacock feathers on his hair, who has the mole called Srivasa on his chest, who wears the emerald called Kaustubha on his neck, who wears yellow silk, who is pretty, who is being worshipped by the blue lotus flower-like eyes of gopis, and who is completely surrounded by cows and cow herds. Let us all be protected by the Lord Kasava, in whose case, of the inner petals of the lotus generated, on whose stomach Lord Brahma is a bee, on whose chest goddess Lakshmi shines, and whose eyes are the moon and the sun, the divine river originating from whose feet became an ornament of the head of Shiva, and by meditating on whose name all sins are removed permanently. Let you be protected by the sidelong glances of gopis, who wished to be salutations by blue lotus flowers below Krishna's feet, who wanted to be fishes in the pond of his belly, who wanted to be the arrows of the god of love on his chest, who wanted to be garlands made of emeralds on his neck, who wanted to be bees circulating in his lotus-like face, and who wanted to be peacock feathers ornamenting his hair. Let us be protected by the child Gopala, who woke up in the mornings due to the sound of the churning of curds, who entered the house of gopis without making noise, and who put out the lamps there by the wind from his lotus-like mouth, and went on gobbling the fresh butter there. I meditate in the morning the butter thief Krishna, who woke up in the morning to the sound of churning curds, who has a very fresh and pretty face at the end of the sleep, who has a faultless body which is sweet to the mind, and who has a set of bewitching eyes which are just like open lotus flowers. I sing about some cowherd boy who wears red halakha flowers in his ears, by which both his cheeks are shining, who is searched by the words of the Vedas, and whose tender fingers have sweet scent to the contact with the hair of the gopis. Let us be made pure by that Krishna, the thought of whose stealing butter removes the sin of theft, the thought of whose illicit love removes the sin committed towards the teacher, the thought of killing Ravana removes the sin of murder, and the thought of his drinking Putana's milk removes the sin of drinking. O God of love, do not live in my mind where only Krishna can live, for without notice he would come there, and he may not tolerate your living in his house. I meditate on that child Krishna who is moving on both his knees, who has his left hand on the floor and is staring at the butter in his lotus-like right hand. I daily think about that child Krishna, whose ear studs and curly hair keep on moving, who stands on his knees and hands on the floor, and who is an extremely pretty sight. O consort of Sita, for now keep away your bow kandana, and take in your hands the pretty flute, and also wear the peacock feathers on your head, and then surely I will salute you. We relied on him, because this cowherd being the lord of the sea of milk and the protector of cows, we would be getting a lot of milk to drink. But we found a lot of problems for getting milk, and even getting milk from his mother's chest also had become difficult. I am not surprised because you left the hold of my hand and went away, for I would respect your masculinity if you managed to go away from my heart. For doing good to us let Krishna come, who is like the rising sun in the dark, who is like a boat to those who drown in the sea, who is like a cloud giving tasty rain to those who are thirsty, and who is like a doctor to those who suffer long-time diseases. I meditate always on the Gopala, who holds the bow and scented flower arrows, wheel, the conch, the gold, and golden flute, who is reddish like saffron, who is prettier than the god of love, who has an ever-smiling face, who is surrounded by gopi lasses, who is the protector of the three worlds, and who gives boons to those who ask. I salute the very pretty cowherd Krishna, who likes rasa krida, who can be made as their own by his devotees, who has a form that attracts all the three worlds in the flower opening times, in the evenings at the garden in the moonlight and on the sandhills, who has a form and glance which will make lasses of heaven and earth swoon, and who is surrounded by thousands of passionate gopalasses with newer and newer tastes. I salute that Krishna who plays on the flute, who plays below the kandama tree, who lives in Vrindavan, and who sits on a lotus pose. We have to worship, at beginning of the day, the birthless child Gopala, who is the color of the blue clown, who ties in his hips a gem-studded belt with bells, who has 2 calves, who wears in his neck a quality tiger's nail, who has a face that is like a fully open lotus flower, who killed Putana, Trinvartha, Saksara, and other asuras, who has a smiling face and is being worshipped by Indra and other devas. We have to daily chant during noon for getting wealth, that name of God Mukunda, who is being saluted by devas, who shines like the Kuruvinda flowers, who has eyes like blue lotuses, who is always surrounded by cows and gopis, who has won over hordes of enemies, who smiles with the teeth which are like jasmine buds, who is very pretty being decorated by the flowers of the peacock, who has pretty hair on his head, who is shining in his yellow silk dress. We have to daily meditate during the evenings the mantra of the son of Vasudeva, who drove off the enemies of Varuja by the edge of the holy wheel, who can never be defeated, who reduced the burden of Mother Earth, who is surrounded by primal gods, and who is being praised by Narada and other sages for determining the meaning of philosophy, who has a pure form, who is of incomparable prettiness, who is of the blue color, who is the cause of birth, upkeep, and the death of the world, and who is the one God who grants salvation to his devotees. Afterwards, we have to meditate on the form of Krishna, who holds the unbreakable Kadanda bow, the arrow made of flowers, the holy wheel, the conch, the rope, the goad, and the flute made of gold in his 8 hands, who is the red color of the rising sun god, who has put on the form the god of love, who is a cowherd, This is considered as the mantra of the 8-handed Mandana Gopala Sundari. Who knocked my door? Hey, rascal girl, is Madhava. Is it spring? No, it is the holder of the wheel. Is he a potter with a wheel? No, he is the one who owns the Mother Earth. Is he the snake with 2 tongues? No, he is the one who defeated the snake in the river. Is he the king of birds, the Garuda? No, he is hairy. Are you then a monkey? Thus Krishna was defeated in repartee by the Gopalas, and let him save us. Coming out of the pretty house of Radha, Krishna asked Chandravali, Hey Radha, how do you do? Hearing these words, Chandravali asked him, Hey Kamsa, how do you do? And then he asked, Oh girl who has lost her senses, where did you happen to see Kamsa? And she retorted, In the same place where you happened to see Radha. And Krishna became shy and bent his head and let that Krishna who is shy save us from everything. Let this work done by me be as dear to you as the food offered to you by Vidura. The food and offerings by Kunti, the food offered to you on Gandhavana by the Gopa boys, the beaten rice offered to you by your friend Kukshela, the chest milk of Yasoda, the hospitality of sage Bharadvaja, the fruit offered by Shabari, the lips of the lasses who loved you, and the love, hospitality, and offerings of the wives of sages. The iron cage of the collection of our sins would break into hundreds of pieces like the mountain subjected to Vajrayuda if we continuously keep thinking of Krishna. I salute those feet of Purushottama, who is the teacher of all, and who is my soul-like teacher who helped me to get the freedom from bondage. And may he do the same for you. Thank you for watching. Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Swaminarayan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.